back to the channel. I am Jen Trovo, the baseball nerd. It has been a while since I've made a video, and I've just been doing other things, you know. Hey, today the topic is going to be my all-time World Series tournament. I started this thing back in 2011, and it's now in 2021. This is going to be my year that I finish it off, and that was my target goal. It was a decade, and I think I can do that. So let me tell you about a little bit of the history about it. First of all, I do use the Star Power Baseball game itself, which is produced by Dingent Productions. We do have a Facebook page. Check it out. That's Star Power Baseball. So I use cards to play these simulations of games. I started off this World Series teams tournament with 256 teams. I made every single team that ever went to the World Series and a few other teams that I thought were good enough to make the tournament. And I essentially played 7-game series, 5-game series. Like, I whittled it down, and I'm finally to the top 32 teams. And what I did is I went through and ranked all of these teams based on run differential, their ERA, their whip, their slugging, and all these different sources of stats, their records, who they played against, strength of schedule, that type of stuff. And so I'm to my last 32 teams, which is a huge deal because I started with 256 teams. So many teams to make. A lot of work. Anyway, I want to show you the brackets that I have today, and I'm going to kind of divide them up in 4 different brackets, and then each one of those brackets is going to have 2 different sections. So I'll show you 2 matchups per, and just kind of talk about those for a bit. And so if you're interested, I hope you enjoy. Here's our first couple matches in bracket 1. The first matchup is between the 1927 Yankees and the 1972 Athletics. Currently, the 1927 Yankees are the #1 ranked team in the tournament. They are 10-0. That's right. They are on fire. They bat .359 as a team. They slug .656. Their OBP is .442. Their team ERA is 2.60. And they only allow an on-base percentage of .245. It's crazy. #1 team in the books right now, with a 91 run differential plus. That's a great. They're facing the number 32 ranked team, which is last currently in the 1972 A's. The A's are 10-5 with a run differential of only +8. Their batting average is a anemic 216. They're slugging .335, so their offense is just not working, but they managed to win games due to their pitching. With an ERA of 2.96 and a whip of 1.09. The A's are good, but they're facing the #1 team, the 27 Yankees. The other matchup is the 2016 Cubs versus the 1919 White Sox. The Cubs are ranked #6. The White Sox are 27. The strengths of the Cubs right now is pitching. That's it. Their ERA is .82, whip is .626. It's crazy. They're batting .216, slugging .415. Their run differential is really high, though, with +46, so they're good. They just can be better. The 1919 White Sox are ranked currently at #27, like I said. They're 10-4. Their batting is .288 batting average, but their slugging is .405, which is pretty good. +21 run differential, but their pitching needs to improve a little bit. It's good with a whip of 1.27 and an ERA of 3.37, but they don't have enough offense to make up for that. So those two matchups should be interesting. Okay, the other side of bracket 1, we see 2 matchups here with the 1942 Yankees against the 1956 Dodgers, the 1970 Reds versus the 1913 New York Giants. The 1956 Dodgers right now are currently ranked #20, and the 1942 Reds are ranked #13. The strength of the Dodgers is they have a +26 run differential, batting .273, slugging .479. Their ERA is pretty high, though, with a 3.93 with 1.25 about average. So their strength is basically their lineup. They're 10-2. They're facing the 42 Yankees, who are also 10-2 with a +35 run differential, just slightly better than the Dodgers there. They're batting .254 as a team and slugging .380. But their pitching is their strength with an ERA of 1.71 and a whip of .974. This should be an interesting matchup. Second matchup on the bottom there is the 1970 Reds versus the 1913 Giants. The 70 Reds right now are ranked number 10, so they're in the top third of these teams. and they are currently 10-3, with a run differential of 39 plus. Their OBP is low at 315. Their slugging's okay at 411. Their pitching's pretty good at 248 ERA, WHIP of 1.2. They're a solid team. They're very interchangeable. And then they're facing the 1913 Giants, who are number 23 in the rankings. 1913 Giants right now are 10-1, only one loss. And they have an ERA of 0.95, which is definitely their strength. Their WHIP is .704. You can see Christy Mathewson there as a leader of that squad. They're batting in 249, slugging 333, but they're an old-time small ball team. Should be an interesting matchup. In our second bracket, our first matchups are the 1978 Yankees versus the 1976 Reds. We also see the 1998 Yankees versus the 1961 Yankees. That is probably one of the most anticipated series that I have. The 78 Yankees are currently ranked number 2, and the 76 Reds are at 31. Now, the 78 Yankees are very, very good at 10-5, but they have a plus 78 run differential, which is really, really good. The only team above them is the 27 Yankees. They can lose some ball games, but being paired up against the 76 Reds is going to be interesting for them. The Reds don't have a very high run differential on that particular squad in this tournament. They're 10-4. They've only scored about 60 runs, but their ERA is solid 3.3. The 70 Yankees right are at a 3.3 ERA. Their ERAs are equal, so it's going to be a really tough matchup for both teams. Should be fun. Now the bottom matchup here, the 98 Yankees, are probably rated way lower than most people are going to put them right now. They're ranked 28th on my system. Now the reason for that is that their run differential currently is not that good at plus 20 for their team. They're 10-4. Their ERA is a pretty high 4.19. They're slugging at a 472, so they can hit the ball. Their WHIP is 1.36. If they can get the ball to Rivera, it's good for them. However, they face the 61 Yankees, who are currently ranked at number 5, with Mantle and Maris and a solid pitching staff. The 61 Yankees are the only team right now that has 13 victories because they were a redemption team. They're at plus 52 run differential. Their ERA is 2.83. Their WHIP is 1.06. They're slugging at 487. That's going to be a really interesting matchup. Looking forward to it. So on the other side of this bracket, we have the 1955 Dodgers taking on the 1939 Yankees and the 1995 Braves versus the 1937 Yankees. The 1939 Yankees are currently ranked number 9, and the 55 Dodgers are sitting at 24. The strength of the Yankees right now in 39 is their plus 41 run differential. Their ERA is 3.10. Their WHIP is 1.07. They're slugging at about 455. Very solid team. I think their biggest weakness is they don't have a lot of interchangeable lineup room there, but they're still really, really good. Their pitching staff is amazing. The Dodgers for 1955. Oh, by the way, 39 Yankees are 10-3. The Dodgers are 10-2 currently, but they're ranked lower because their run differential is at plus 23. The ERA is soaring at a 4.02 for this team. They went through a couple rough patches, but they score a lot of runs. They slug 432. So this should be a good matchup, hopefully. The bottom matchup there is the Braves 95 versus the Yankees 37. That 1937 Yankees team is 10-1, and they are ranked at a 18, while the 95 Braves are at a 15 ranking. The 37 Yankees strength is definitely a combination of good slugging and good ERA. However, they're slugging at 5.03, the ERA is 3.53. However, their pitching WHIP is 1.47. So if the Braves can slug their way through, I don't know if that's an even matchup or not. We'll just have to wait and see. That 95 Braves pitching is just super powerful. So with our bracket 3 going, we have some pretty cool matchups going on here. At the top, we have the 2004 St. Louis Cardinals versus the 2011 Texas Rangers. I like this matchup because it is the rematch of the 2011 World Series, but with different teams. The better Cardinals team, in my opinion. In the bottom there, we got the 52 Yankees versus the 96 Yankees. Both of those teams won World Series. Now, starting with the Cardinals versus the Rangers, the 2004 Cardinals currently are at 10-3 with a plus 3.3 run differential. Really solid bullpen. They're slugging at a 4.55. 2011 Rangers, though, are surprisingly 10-0. Now, their run differential It's plus 26. It's pretty good. Their ERA is at 2.84. Their pitching staff is really good. They're at 4.79. Their whip's at 1.05. So the Cardinals are at 14 ranked, and the Rangers are at 19 at this point, just because of some other factors. But that should be a very solid series. The next ones we see there is the 52 Yankees and the 96 Yankees. That 96 Yankees team is 10-3 with a plus 2.5 run differential. They're pretty decent in the pitching regards. Some good starters are David Cone and company. Their lineup is pretty good with a 275 batting average and a slugging 450. The 52 Yankees, on the other hand, they are 10-3. They're plus 36 run differential. Their batting average 263, slugging 456, ERA is 250. Their whip is under 1 though. So that again, these matchups early on are going to be super, super even. The 52 Yankees are ranked 12 and the 96 Yankees are ranked 21. However, I don't think that's going to matter. It's going to be good matchups here. So on the other side of that bracket, in number 3, we have some great matchups here too. These are all so good. We have the 2018 Dodgers versus the 2014 Giants, and the 2009 Yankees versus the 1933 Giants. So the Giants are finding their way here. We'll start at the top. The 2018 Dodgers, currently 10-2, plus 46 run differential. They are rated very, very high at a number 7, while the 2014 Giants are ranked number 26 right now. The Dodgers, again, have interchangeable lineup, slugging 490, ERA 1.93. Their whip is .897. They're brutal. We all know this. The 2014 Giants are currently 10-4, plus 22 run differential, ERA 2.39. Whip is good. Their slugging is at a 3.92 though, so I'm not feeling very confident on the Giants on this one. Let's see if they can pull it out. On the bottom there, the 2009 Yankees are currently ranked number 4, so they're one of the top performing teams, and they're facing off against number 29 seed 1933 Giants. The 33 Giants are 10-4, run differential of plus 16. Their superstar power right there is Carl Hubble. If Carl Hubble can win his games, the Giants will give you trouble. On the 2009 Yankees side, they are 10-1, only a 1 loss for them so far. Their ERA is a little bit high at a 4.27, but they rely on just 3 starting pitchers essentially. But they have a plus 64 run differential. They're slugging at a 5.25. The Yankees are a super threat. Okay, so finally in bracket 4 here, we have our first pairings. We have the 1965 Twins versus the 1906 Cubs, the 2008 Phillies versus the 1975 Reds. Now the 1965 Twins are currently 10-3 with a run differential of 27. They're ranked at number 17. Their lineup is powerful with a 465 slugging. Their ERA for their team is 3.88, so a little bit high. Their whip is still 1.10, pretty good. They're facing the number 16 team, the 06 Cubs, who are 10-3 with a plus 32 run differential. They only slug 344 as a team. That's their big downfall. However, we all know the powerful Cubs of this era, 2.17 ERA with a whip of 0.966. They only let 0.259 OBP against them. So they're going to pitch to death, but the Twins are going to slug. So it's going to be we're going to see how that operates with one another. The bottom matchup there, we have the 2008 Phillies with the 1975 Reds. The Phillies are currently ranked number 22, and the Reds are number 11. So very high ranking for them. The 75 Reds are 10-2 with a plus 38 run difference. But their ERA is higher at 0.408, but they're slugging at 4.77. So they've only lost 2 games. They're one of the most powerful teams in the tournament. The Phillies right now are 10-2, the same as the Reds, plus 24. So that's 14 runs different for their run differential against the Reds. Their ERA is just right around where the Reds are. They're 4.15 compared to a 4.08. They're slugging at a 4.47, so just a little bit under the Reds. So it should be an interesting series. 2 all-time great teams right there. So here finishing off our 4th bracket is the 1963 Yankees versus the 1929 Athletics, and the 2017 Dodgers versus the 1908 Chicago Cubs. The 1963 Yankees right now are currently ranked number 25, but their record was 10-1. They only lost 1 ball game. Their run differential was lower though at a plus 22. Their ERA is an amazing 1.64, but they only slugged 4.08. they're kind of a shocker for me that they made it that far, but I guess those 60 Yankees teams were pretty good in the early days. They're facing off against the 1929 A's, who are currently 10-5, so their record's a little bit lower. They're ranked right now at number 8, though, because their run differential is plus 42. They have a higher ERA at 3.41, but they're slugging at 4.03. They just can win ball games for some reason. I maybe ranked them higher than they should have been, but I think that's a pretty good matchup right there. The 2017 Dodgers versus the 08 Cubs. That Dodgers team is just as good as the 2018 Dodgers. They're actually probably better. They have a plus 69 run differential. They're only 10-1. Their ERA is slightly higher than the other Dodger team. They're at 3.06. Their whip is super low, but they're slugging 489. So the Dodgers, again, super good. But I put them up against the number 30 ranked 1908 Cubs. In my opinion, not as maybe as good as the 06 Cubs. Still really, really good, though. Their pitching is off the chain. Their record is 10-6, though. And their run differential is 0.14. So they're not going to score a lot of runs. And they prevent a lot of runs. But in the tournament, their ERA is 3.3. So they have been playing some high offensive teams. But I want to see how they can do against the 2017 high offense of the Dodgers as well. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, and that's it. Those were the teams that are the final 32. Some of them might shock you that they're there. Some of them might be super obvious, like the 27 Yankees. And agree or disagree with my ranking systems on how I made up those pairings. Again, it's my tournament. I've taken 10 years of my life to do this. I mean, it's not like I did it every day of my life, but it's taken me a long time, a lot of dedication to it. And my main goal of this is I wanted to figure out who's the best team on paper. Now, you will note that the 2020 teams I did not include in the tournament. So by the time the 2020 season came around, I had already gotten to all the way through the first round. So the way the rounds worked is the first round, all the 256 teams that were there, they all played a 7-game series. And so that dwindled those down to 128. All right. I then played 2 5-game series. So I went to 64 and 32. And some of the teams, like you saw in the video, the 1961 Yankees, I went through and put them through a redemption series because they got ousted in the first round, but I thought they were good enough just to give a second shot to. And so that's why teams like the 61 Yankees are still in it with slightly more wins. And I decided, like, if there were 7-game series that were close and I thought that they should rebound from it, then I gave them a shot. And so the 61 Yankees are the one redemption team that made it into the final 32. So what I'm going to do from this point going forward, I'm going to play the next round of 7-game series. So the 32 teams, they're all going to play against they're going to play those matchups. I'll get down to the Sweet 16, all right? The Sweet 16 then will play another 7-game series, and I'm going to dwindle that down to the final 8, the Elite 8. When you get to the Elite 8, you're going to be matched up against somebody, and you're going to play the best of 9, right? And then that will get me to my final 4, and then I'll re-rank those 4 teams as I see that they should be ranked, all right? So, hey, put down in the comments, who do you think's going to win this whole thing? Who do you think's going to get ousted quickly? Who do you think are interesting matchups? So let me know. I am super excited about this thing. I can't wait to get it started, and I've been pausing my playing for about a month because I wanted to get this video made first before I actually played it. So I'm excited. And I'll post the results. I'll probably after the first round here, when I get down to 16, I'll let you know who were the 16 that made it, and then we'll go from there. So thanks for tuning in. Remember to subscribe and like. Please do that. That helps the channel. And also, do not forget to check out Star Power Cast. That is my podcast. You can find it on Spotify, iTunes, and Amazon. I can look that up on Amazon now. So cool. Thanks for watching. Take care. Until next time, keep spinning.